Hey guys, today I'm going to show you how to pour epoxy countertops or backsplash using Z Counterform's Epoxy. So I have all of my materials laid out behind me. I will go through what we're doing and my inspiration and then show you all the steps along the way. But first things first, let's fix this hair. Okay, this is kind of sticky material. You want to make sure that you have like good gloves. If you have long hair like me, get it out of the way. The plan is to create this type of backsplash. I am looking for like a waterfall up onto the roof. Hopefully we can make it work. I'm working with a cream base, and then I'm gonna bring in golds and grays and a little bit of plum, and I might even throw a little light blue because I'm crazy like that. Well, I will bring in some isopropyl alcohol with my gold dust and kind of mist it in to see what kind of effect it gives. If you are nervous about using epoxy, this is a really great system to start with because it has a long hardening period, time frame, I guess you could say. The number one thing that it freaks me out with epoxy is that I have to like work too fast and I feel like I'm under pressure. Well, with this one, you can take your time because it doesn't harden super, super fast. You can always add more, or you can scrape away what you don't like. You really can't mess this up. So let's start out by mixing our epoxy, and then we will get all the colors together and I'll show you what we do. So this is the epoxy resin A and hardener B. Different cups here, and then I have larger ones for my base there. And then these are all the little metallic powders that I'm working with. I don't think I'm gonna use that green one though. And then last minute, I decided I needed to add a little plum. So I just picked up a little paint and added that. And then this is the color that I'm accenting with in the trailer. And so I wanna squirt a little bit of that, very minimal. We'll see how it goes. I have a couple spray bottles because I wanna try something with my isopropyl alcohol to give kind of like a splotchy out effect, kind of like a static screen. And I have my gloves, more spray bottles, squeegee, and then this is the Jiffy mixer. It is really nice to have to be able to mix your epoxy because you need to put the A and B together, and that's what forms the hardening epoxy. The solid color epoxy pigment, and I'm just using the cream color so that I can coat all my boards first, and then I will come back in with the accent colors. So this is my main backsplash, the countertop here, and I'm gonna lay up, and then this is the ceiling joint, and this is the part that is gonna actually come up. So when I do my pour, I wanted this to run together like as if it was one piece that was cut and it's water falling up onto the ceiling. So this is a skylight. I am gonna just continue any veining throughout this whole panel. This section over here is for the opposite side of the RV in the kitchen. So you can see this is where like a window is. This is the old stove vent, and there's an upper cabinet that is right up there. So this is one piece, and it flows into this piece goes right here. And this is just an experimental piece that potentially will be up here above this piece. So I'm gonna keep that in mind when I am pouring this, that whatever veining I do out this way, I'm gonna come in and mimic down this way. I'm not too worried about it because it's a corner and I'm not even positive that I'm keeping these, but I think I am, and I figure might as well just make it all one cohesive look and go from there. My toy hauler, you know, RVs are not level unless you level them. And I didn't think about that. And I was pouring a stationary countertop in my RV, and on the time lapse of my pour, you can see it flowing to one corner. And I quickly yelled for Chad to jack up the back so that it would level it out. So you wanna make sure your surface that you're pouring on is level. Since we're not in an RV, I was able to just do it on a level ground. get your gloves on, and what epoxy comes with is your part A, resin, and then your hardener, which is part B. And you're gonna end up mixing these together. You start out with your part A and you're gonna put, say you want 1 gallon, you would put 1 gallon of this and then only half a gallon of the resin. So basically it's a 2-to-1 ratio. 2 resin, 1 hardener. And make sure you put your coloring in the resin before you put the hardener in. And then you're ready to pour. Once you mix them, you're gonna use the Jiffy mixer on a drill attachment, and you're gonna just mix it thoroughly for 2 minutes, and then you'll be ready to pour. When you mix in your pigment, you wanna make sure that you scrape the edges and get all of that pigment really throughout your resin, and then add the hardener. So we're gonna do that now. Two quarts is where I stopped, and this is just the resin. The solid color epoxy pigment in cream. And you use this entire 4-ounce bottle for a gallon, which is the entire resin bottle. So I'm only gonna use like half. And you basically put it in. Just gonna take my Jiffy mixer. Now we need to go in with our part B. We need 1 quart. Here's 24. So that's 32 ounces, and now we're gonna mix for 2 minutes. I'm just trying to coat the material. So I'm just putting a base coat so that everything will slide. Okay, so I poured my base color, which is cream. I know it doesn't look that much different, but you can tell in real life. And what I'm gonna do now, because you can see kind of in this space, like it's kind of, you know, not smooth, there's tons of bubbles. I'm gonna take my torch and I'm kind of just gonna gloss it out. And then I already have another mixture that's ready to go. I'm gonna mix them in this again, and then I'm gonna pour a bunch of little ones, and I'm gonna just pour veins. And hopefully it turns out okay. Okay, this is where we're at. It is crazy busy compared to what I was going for. Still super cool, but I am a little worried that it is not the design that I wanted, but it is still gonna, I think what it is because the base is so white and these are dark, that it's such a big contrast. But I feel like as it dries, you can already see it's spreading out. And so this is it. And if I do a flood coat that's kind of opaque over the entire thing, it's kind of just like a toner, I guess you could say, where it would dull everything down and make it not such a huge contrast. Either way, it's super cool. And there's a lot of like really cool glassy veining. So, I mean, that looks like a geode. How cool is that? Okay, so we finished pouring and this is the result. It is much more dramatic of a pour than I was expecting. So we're gonna let this sit because as epoxy dries, it kind of just settles and kind of spreads out. So we'll come back later today and see how we're doing. I let mine dry for 3 days and then I was ready to install. I just used liquid nails to the back of my panels, held them up in place, and it was a little bit of a struggle for me. So I did end up using some brad nails and it did not damage the epoxy at all. Next, I did the same thing with the top portion. You can see the design just rolls right through. I then added a little extra detail by adding molding throughout all of the corners and seams. I used my heat gun to bend this PVC trim so that I could mold it across the top piece to give it a finished look. Added these brackets to the open shelving I was placing on the back epoxy wall. Added some hooks for coffee cups, and then of course, even though we're not done with this renovation, I had to start decorating. And here's how it turned out. So bold and classy, and I absolutely love it. This isn't the only spot that's gonna be getting this type of epoxy, but I'm so happy to finally have this one section done. We still need to add the fridge, but that'll be coming soon. Also adding this same look to the other side of the RV and the kitchen, so keep following along, and if you want all of the product info, comment shop and I'll send it to you. I promise, it may look hard, but it's this easy. I was just as shocked as you'll be.